Hello students, myself Pallavi Borade, teacher at Ferguson Junior College, Pune. I teach Vocational Electronics Paper 1. So today we are going to start our chapter number 5, that is Modern Electronic Communication from Paper 1. So in this chapter we are going to study different types of communication systems. So let's start with the presentation. The name of the chapter is Modern Electronic Communication. It has 20% weightage of the syllabus. So let's start the contents. In this chapter, we are going to study introduction, then elements of communication systems, types of electronic communication, electromagnetic spectrum, bandwidth. Then we are going to study the main important part of this chapter, that is modulation. Then we are going to see the types of modulation. In that, we will see amplitude modulation, that is AM, frequency modulation, that is FM, and the third is phase modulation, that is PM. After that, we will see satellite communication, then applications of satellite, then use of satellite as a relay station, then digital communication, methods of data transmission. Then we will see modems, the types of modem, that is. Then we will discuss computer networks. In that, again, we will see the LAN, WAN and MAN explanation in detail. Then we are going to study fiber optic communication. After that, fax machine, the detailed explanation of fax machine. After that, cellular telephone, and last one is radar. So these are the contents from this chapter. So let's start with the introduction. So basically, what do you mean by communication? So communication is the sharing of thoughts with one another, and it can be defined as the basic process of exchanging information, and the information may be oral or in the written form or in the printed form. So these are the general communication types, that is verbal communication or non-verbal communication. If you use words for the communication between two persons, then that type of communication is verbal. And if there are some gestures are used in the type of communication, then that type of communication is known as non-verbal communication. The information, if it is in printed form, that is also type of communication. So in general, communication is the sharing of thoughts. So this is the block diagram of general communication system. Any kind of communication system has these three blocks. The first block is transmitter, where information is applied to the transmitter. The information can be human message. Then that is applied to transmitter, who will transmit that information to the communication channel. This channel can be any medium, it can be any wire, cable, if in terms of electronic communication. After that, communication channel output is connected to the receiver part. So receiver part will receive that information, and at the output we will get that information. Here noise is also connected to the channel, because noise, these are the unwanted signal, and we cannot neglect these noise signals. That's why we have to consider this noise with this communication system. So these are the parts which are included in general communication system. So let's study the elements of a communication system. So basically, the basic components of these communication systems are transmitter, channel or medium, receiver and noise. So transmitter. First of all, when we consider electronic communication system, then the informations are in the form of electronic signal, and it is given to the transmitter. The transmitter consists of electronic component and circuits designed to convert the information into suitable signal. An example of transmitter can be microphone, microwave, radio transmitter, etc. Channel or medium. So the channel or medium in the electronic communication system, the electronic signal is sent from one place to another by the communication channel or medium. And the major types of channels are wire, radio and fiber optic cable in the electronic communication. Receiver. So the receiver accepts the transmitter message from the channel, and it converted into the understandable by human message. So it is basically the original human message is converted into the desirable output. And the example of receivers are an earphone or electronic receiver, etc. Noise. So we cannot neglect noise from the communication system. So basically random and undesirable interference in communication is noise. So sources of interference are the atmosphere, the manufactured equipment and thermal agitation in the components. So these are the types of noise signal which are unwanted signal, and we can try to minimize this noise signal from the communication system to get proper output at the receiver. So the noise is undesired, so it cannot be completely eliminated. So let's start with the types of electronic communication. So there are three types of electronic communication. One way, that is simplex, or two way, that is duplex. The second type is depend on the signal which is used in communication system, that is analog or digital. And the third part is depend on the process, that is baseband or modulated. So let's start with these types one by one. The first one is type 1, simplex or duplex transmission. So what do you mean by simplex? Simplex is one-way communication. It's called as simplex communication. So the information travels in one direction only. There is no provision for feedback from the distance end. So this type of communication is only one way. We can either transmit or receive the signal at a time. So the example for the simplex transmission is TV broadcasting, telemetry, fax, etc. Duplex. Second type is duplex. So two-way communication is called as duplex. There are two parts of duplex communication or transmission. That is, first one is full duplex. So simultaneous two-way communication is called as full duplex. The example of full duplex are in telephone system, where each can transmit and hear simultaneously. So the second subtype of duplex transmission is half duplex. So the type of two-way communication in which only one party transmit at a time, it's called as half duplex. The example of half duplex are radio communication used in police and military services. Type 2, the second type of communication system is analog or digital signal. So this type is basically depend on the type of signal which is used in communication system. First type, that is analog signal. So what do you mean by analog signal? A continuously varying voltage or current is called as analog signal, and they are in sinusoidal in nature. So the analog signals are sinusoidal in nature with or without harmonics and represent the variation of physical quantity like sound waves. So these type of signals which are used in communication, that communication is called as analog communication. And the example of this type is telephone signals, TV picture signals, etc. So second type of signal are digital signal. So these signals consist of pulses occurring discrete interval of time. So these signals are used in transmission and reception of coded message. And example of digital signal communications are radar signals or data signals, etc. Basically, these type of signals are used in digital communication where binary signals are used or in terms of pulses. Third type is baseband or modulated signal. So baseband signals. So what do you mean by baseband signals? So here, regardless of whether the original information are analog or digital, they are called as baseband signal. So basically these signals are in the form of original voice or video or data. So example of these type of signals are voice, any kind of video or data which is to be transmitted. And putting the original signal directly into the medium is called as baseband transmission. An example of baseband transmission is computer networks where video or data signals are directly transmitted over networks. Second type, that is modulated signal. So basically sometimes baseband signals are not compatible with the media. To make the transmitted signal compatible with the medium, so that process of modulation must be used, and that those signals are called as modulated signals. So the baseband signal is impressed upon a high frequency signal called carrier, and that envelope is called as modulation. So before we start the modulation techniques, we have to consider this electromagnetic spectrum where the span of frequencies are used. So what do you mean by electromagnetic spectrum? So the information is converted into electronic signals which radiate through space. Such signals consist of both electric and magnetic fields. So these signals are called as electromagnetic waves or radio frequency waves, that is RF waves. So the entire range of frequencies of electromagnetic waves from power line and audio signals to the infrared and visible light is called as electromagnetic spectrum. Spectrum is the range of frequency, or you can say the span of frequency, where all electromagnetic waves are considered. So this is the span of frequency, that is frequency range, which are used in electromagnetic spectrum. So if you observe this picture, we have from the radio waves, then we have microwaves, then we have infrared. After that infrared, we have visible spectrum. After that, ultraviolet rays are there. Then X-rays, gamma rays are included over here. So let's discuss the each and every frequency range. The first frequency range, which is the lowest frequency range, that is extremely low frequency. And the range of this frequency is 30 Hz to 300 Hz. Basically, this frequency is used in AC power line frequency. As you know, in India, we are using 50 Hz frequency as AC power line frequency. Second type of range is voice frequencies, VF. The range of this frequency is from 300 Hz to 3 kHz. And basically, this is normal range of human speech. Then very low frequency, VLF. The range is 3 kHz to 30 kHz. Basically, this is higher end of human hearing range and used by Navy to communicate with submarines. So this range of frequency can be used in submarines also. Next is low frequency, and the range is 30 kHz to 300 kHz, and it is used in aeronautical and marine navigation. Fifth one is medium frequency, that is MF. Range is 300 kHz to 3000 kHz. These frequencies are used in AM broadcasting. Next is high frequencies, HF. The range is 3 MHz to 30 MHz. These frequencies known as short waves, and it is used in radio broadcasting and amateur radio, etc. The seventh range is very high frequencies, and the range is 30 MHz to 300 MHz. This range is used for mobile radio, FM radio broadcasting. So the TV channels, which are from number 2 to number 13, these type of frequencies are used for TV channels, and again it is used in FM radio. So the range for FM radio broadcasting is 88 MHz to 108 MHz. Next is ultra high frequencies, and the range is very high, that is 300 MHz to 3000 MHz. So these are used in TV channels. The number of TV channels are 14 through 83. It is also used in cellular telephone, military services, and above 1000 MHz frequencies are called as microwave frequencies. Ninth one is super high frequency, SHF. The range is very high, that is 3 GHz to 30 GHz. Gigahertz means 10 raised to 9 Hz. And these frequencies are used in satellite communication and radar. Next is extremely high frequency. Again, the range is from 30 GHz to 300 GHz. And they are used in radar and satellite to generate and receive signals. And these communication equipments are extremely complex and expensive. So the next frequency range is infrared. It is higher than 300 GHz. So above 300 GHz are not called radio waves. So anything produces heat generates infrared signals, and they are used in TV remote control and astronomy to detect stars, etc. So this is the application of infrared signals. Next is very interesting, that is the visible spectrum, that is light frequency. So these light signals can use free space or fiber optic cables as medium, and it is produced by laser. So what do you mean by laser? Laser is light amplification by stimulated emission of light, and it will generate extremely narrow beam of light which is modulated with baseband information. Basically, this laser beam is used in fiber optic communication, and the range for this light signals are from 430 terahertz seen as red. So the red signal frequency is 430 terahertz and 750 terahertz signal is as violet. And the last is X-rays or gamma rays, and they are beyond visible spectrum. The frequency is very, very high, beyond gigahertz. That's why they are not used in communication systems. And the wavelength for these rays are 0.01 to 10 nanometers. So that's why these rays are used in medical equipments. So before we start communications, we have to consider this bandwidth. What do you mean by bandwidth? So whenever we transmit any signal, we require bandwidth, and bandwidth is the portion of the electromagnetic spectrum occupied by a signal is called as bandwidth. So it is the frequency range over which an information signal is transmitted, and bandwidth is the difference between the upper and lower frequency limit of the signal. So we can calculate bandwidth as f2 minus f1, that is the cutoff frequency, high cutoff frequency minus low cutoff frequency. So if you consider this graph, this is the graph of amplifier circuit, and from this graph you can calculate the bandwidth. If you plot this graph, amplitude versus frequency, we will get the gain, which is first for the low frequency it is increasing, for the middle frequency it is stable, and for the high frequency it is decreasing. So we can calculate f1 and f2 by using perpendicular with that graph. In the middle frequency, the gain is constant, and by using this cutoff frequency f1 and f2, we can calculate the span of frequency where gain is constant, and that is called as bandwidth. And the simple formula is used, that is f2 minus f1. Importance. So the importance of bandwidth is only a limited number of signals can be transmitted in the frequency spectrum, because signals with the same frequencies or overlapping frequency will interfere each other. So to reduce this interference of same frequency, we can use this bandwidth. Therefore, it is necessary to minimize the bandwidth required to transmit given information so that more number of channels can be used. The electromagnetic spectrum is managed by ITU, that is International Telecommunication Union. So this union will decide the bandwidth for each channel. So each channel has their own bandwidth. So what do you mean by channel bandwidth? So it is the range of frequencies required to transmit the desired information. If you want to calculate the bandwidth for voice frequency, then the range of the voice frequency is 3000 Hz at 300 Hz. So we can calculate the bandwidth, that is upper cutoff frequency minus lower cutoff frequency. That is 3000 minus 300, we will get 2700 Hz. So that is the bandwidth of voice frequencies. In modulating frequency, it is 5 kilohertz. So if carrier frequency is 800 kilohertz, the sidebands will be produced, and those sidebands are calculated like this: 800 minus 5, that is 795 kilohertz, and 800 plus 5, that is 805 kilohertz. So we will get the bandwidth as f2 minus f1, that is 805 minus 795. So the bandwidth for AM broadcasting is 10 kilohertz. So in this way we can calculate the channel bandwidth for the different ranges. So let's start with the important topic of communication chapter, that is modulation. So what do you mean by modulation? So this is the definition of modulation. So the process in which some characteristics of carrier such as amplitude, frequency or phase can be changed in accordance with amplitude of audio, that is modulating signal, is called as modulation. So basically this is the process where we can decide our carrier frequency and the information frequency, which is the low frequency. That's why that frequency is called as audio frequency, and the another name for audio frequency is modulating frequency. So that modulating signal is basically an information signal which is to be transmitted. So the process for this modulation is like this. The characteristics of carrier signal, that is amplitude, frequency or phase, we have to change in according to amplitude of audio, and that will depend on the modulation technique. If this is amplitude modulation, then we have to change the amplitude of carrier in according to amplitude of audio. If it is frequency modulation, then we have to change the frequency of carrier in according with amplitude of audio signal. And if it is phase modulation, then we have to change the phase of carrier signal in according with amplitude of audio. So this is the process of modulation, where carrier signal is superimposed with modulating signal. So why this modulation is necessity of modulation? Why this modulation is required in communication system? So the necessity of modulation is, first condition is poor transmission. So poor transmission means the information of generally occur at the lower frequencies in the frequency spectrum. Such signals cannot radiate directly. Means what? The information in terms of video, data, anything, voice. So these informations are in the low frequency range, and we cannot radiate or we cannot transmit the signal directly in the channel. So that's why low frequency signals get attenuated at a short distance, because the medium attenuates easily and degrades the signals. That's why the poor transmission is one of the conditions where modulation is necessary. Second, interference. So simultaneously audio signals would interfere with one another since they occupy the same frequency. Means what? If you transmit the same frequency in the same range, then they can interfere with each other because there is no modulation. That's why this is the second condition of need of modulation. The third condition of necessity of modulation is height of antenna. So basically the height of antenna should be 1/4 or 1/2 of the length of the waves to be transmitted. So basically we have to calculate first wavelength, and the height of antenna is depend on the wavelength of the transmitted signal. It can be 1/4 or 1/2 of the wavelength. So if you want to calculate the height of antenna, if the frequency is 10 kHz, the wavelength lambda is C by F, then we can calculate the wavelength for 10 kHz signal is 30 km. So therefore lambda by 2, that is the height of antenna, is 15 km, and height of this antenna would be impractical because of the size and cost. If the frequency is high, that is 1 MHz, then lambda will be 300 meter and the height of that antenna will be 150 meter. So if you consider 10 kHz signal, we will require 15 km height of antenna, and if we want to transmit 1 MHz signal, then we will require 150 meter height of the antenna, which is impractical. So that's why this is the third condition of need of modulation. So let's start with the types of modulation. So there are main two types of modulation. The first one is analog modulation and the second one is digital modulation. So in analog modulation, analog signals are used, and the subtypes are amplitude modulation, that is AM. Second one is frequency modulation, that is FM, and the third one is phase modulation, that is PM. The second type of modulation is digital modulation, where digital pulses are used. So before we start the types of modulation, we have to consider the terms which are related to the modulation process. The first term, that is modulating signal. So what do you mean by modulating signals? So it is basically an information which is low frequency signal. It to be superimposed on a high frequency signal by the process of modulation. It's called as modulating signal. So this is the diagram of modulating signal. It is low frequency signal. That's why the time period of this signal is very high. As you know, time is reciprocal of frequency. Next is carrier signal. So the high frequency signal is called as carrier signal, who carries the information, low frequency signal, in the modulation process, and the resultant signal of this carrier signal and modulating signal is called as modulated signal. So this is the diagram of carrier signal, where time period is very small. Why? Because the frequency is very high. So let's start with the first type of analog modulation, is amplitude modulation. What do you mean by amplitude modulation? So this is the definition of amplitude modulation. So the process in which the instantaneous amplitude of the carrier changes in accordance with the information signal is called as amplitude modulation. So in this process, the amplitude of carrier signal will change in accordance with the information signal amplitude. So here frequency and the phase of carrier is constant. So the amplitude modulation AM is used in radio transmitter for sound signal and in TV transmitter for video signals. So this diagram is AM waveforms where amplitude modulating signal is shown in the first diagram. The middle diagram is carrier signal, that is high frequency signal, and the third diagram is the output of the amplitude modulation, and that diagram is called as envelope, where carrier signal is superimposed with information, that is modulating signal. So this is the final output of AM circuit. Mathematical expression. So mathematical expression of AM is, if sine wave modulating signal can be represented by EM is equal to Vm sine of 2 pi fmt. So we can represent the modulating signal in sine wave equation because these signals are in the form of AC signals. So we can use the sine wave equation for these expressions, where Fm is the frequency of modulating signal, M stand for modulating, Em is the instantaneous value of modulating signal. If we want to express the carrier signal, then we can write down Ec is equal to Vc sine of 2 pi fct, where Fc is the frequency of carrier signal and Ec is the instantaneous value of carrier signal. So here C stands for carrier signal. So in this way we can write down the mathematical expression for the modulating and carrier signal. So students, in today's lecture we have studied the chapter number 5, that is modern electronic communication. We have started the introduction part, then we have seen the electromagnetic spectrum, then types of communication system, elements of communication system, then we have started amplitude modulation. So the remaining part of this chapter, that we will see in the next lecture.